A very good evening and welcome to a brand new edition of News First Weekend. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Civil society organizations call on the government not to delay the Audit Act. Details revealed of another land deal in Colombo. One person drowns after he was caught in a strong current. Spill gates of all tanks in the eastern province opened. Harvest of 1,500 acres of paddy field in Mathura at risk due to high salinity levels.
Heavy showers were experienced in several parts of the island last night. Our correspondent said that spill gates of all tanks in the eastern province have been opened due to the heavy rain. Meanwhile, one person drowned after he was caught in a strong current in the Kalmunai area.
A person who was trying to cross the Kittangi bridge in Kalmunai died after he slipped and fell into the river. Meanwhile, the Kantale tank reached spill level, causing several low-lying areas to flood. The spill gates of the Suryapura Janaranjana tank in Kantale have also been opened. 12,195 people in the Batticaloa district are affected by the prevailing rainy weather conditions. The Disaster Management Centre said that nearly 163 families in the district have abandoned their homes. Several main roads in the district are also inundated. Meanwhile, Mannar has received the highest rainfall over the past 24 hours with a rainfall of 85 millimeters. Bandaravilla has received a rainfall of 82 millimeters, while Nuwara has received a rainfall of 84 millimeters.
Taking a look at a developing story for tonight, civil society organizations are calling on the government not to delay the Audit Act, which was a key pre-election promise of the current government. Meanwhile, the Joint Trade Unions Collective of the Auditor General's Department alleges that efforts are being made through the draft of the Audit Bill to curtail the powers of the Auditor General.
During the run-up to the presidential election, the incumbent government made a promise to establish an audit commission and said that the audit bill will be presented to Parliament soon. The Audit Act, which was one of the main promises of the 100-day government, was said to be presented on the 19th of February 2015. In the recent past, civil society activists and certain politicians criticized the delays in presenting the Audit Act to Parliament. Meanwhile, in a letter addressed to the President, the Campaign for Free and Fair Elections, or CAFE, requests that the National Audit Bill, which was approved by the Attorney General in September 2016, be gazetted and taken up for debate in Parliament. The Ceylon Today newspaper reported today that the Audit Bill, which was initially intended to be a very strong bill, had been diluted with the removal of key clauses from the original draft. According to the report, the surcharge powers of the Auditor General, under which the damage on public property and money could be recovered from secretaries to the ministries, have been removed from the AG. The report reads further that the draft bill also includes provisions to fine audit officers for exposing audit information to external parties. The newspaper also quoted a senior official of the Auditor General's Department who said, "The Auditor General's Department was answerable only to Parliament under the 1978 Constitution, but the new audit bill includes clauses under which the Minister of Finance may work in tandem with the Auditor General, thus breaching the independence of the post." Ceylon Today also interviewed the Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe regarding the issue. The government is delaying passing the audit bill. What happened to it?
It has been directed to the Attorney General. He has sent me a copy of the final draft. Now it is in the office of the Prime Minister and I don't know what happened to it.
Are you satisfied about that final draft?
Not at all. The draft bill has been diluted. This is not the audit bill we expected, but we cannot proceed without even this.
Can you outline the changes made in the draft bill?
I cannot outline all of them now, but I can mention a few facts. The Minister of Finance has been connected to this bill, but the Auditor General must not answer to a minister. A minister must not be connected to this. This must be an independent act.
You give only an opinion in audit reports. Can't you do more than that?
See how strong the opinions are. I have shown errors at the parties, but I have no powers to do more than that. Auditor General is toothless. It is not about a single individual. It does not matter if it's person A, person B or person C. The Auditor General is the individual appointed by Parliament to enforce the powers conferred by Article 154 of the Constitution. I spoke with His Excellency the President personally on several occasions. He told me personally that the Audit Act will be passed and that he will intervene to have the Audit Act passed. The Audit Bill is currently with the Office of the Prime Minister. As such, the Prime Minister must take full responsibility for the continued delay in presenting the Audit Bill. That is our stance. There are two parties who are opposed to passing the Audit Act. One group comprises of state officials, the others are politicians. Both are opposed to it. This shows that they wish to misappropriate state funds, and submissions have been made to the Prime Minister and President on this. It is a prime responsibility of the government to ensure that state funds are not used or misappropriated on the prerogative of the Finance Minister. We call on the authorities to pass the Audit Act and not to dilute it.
The
discussion around the Audit Bill has been brought up intermittently, and at present preparations have been made to present the amended Audit Bill, which will severely curtail the powers of the Auditor General of the country. The Finance Minister, who is the subject of serious accusations of theft, fraud and corruption, is also preparing to steal the powers of the Auditor General. We wish to ask the people of this country and all members of Parliament to stand against this effort to curtail the Auditor General's powers. As far as I remember, the Audit Act was to be passed on the 28th of March 2015 according to the 100-day program. It was said that it would be brought to Parliament. The Audit Bill was drafted and referred to the Legal Draftsman's Department. The department said it was suitable and that it was brought to Cabinet, where a special subcommittee was appointed. Minor amendments were made there and it was referred to Cabinet again. It has been put to a subcommittee with Paskaralingam and Charita Ratwata, and now efforts are being made to curtail the powers of the Auditor General. What is happening here? The Commission has been appointed without the Audit Act being in force, and 2 million rupees is being wasted each month on the rent for the building alone. When you consider the wages of the officials, a sum of about 3 to 4 million rupees is being wasted.
News First is constantly monitoring progress on the introduction of the Audit Bill and will continue to present investigative reports to the people on this very important legislation. Meanwhile, the allegation that land for the proposed tyre factory in Horana has been provided at the extremely low amount of 100 rupees an acre continued to court controversy today. And civil society organizations highlight that individuals who were involved in corrupt deals with the former government are also dealing with the incumbent government.
No,
it was not done knowingly. I'm aware of all these discussions that were held. We only found out in the morning and were considering whether or not to attend. When I went there and looked, I saw that the plaque had been made and that the area was decorated with notices welcoming the Prime Minister. The final decision was based on the fact that on the one hand, when all of this has been done, it would not be good for the Prime Minister not to attend. In truth, it is the ministers that are responsible for this. On the other hand, no one can be given this land at 100 rupees an acre. There was a time when land was given at such prices, before I was appointed as the Minister of Lands. I drafted a national policy for this. This national policy outlines all the procedures to be followed by the government when giving a land. One point is that the land cannot be sold outright. It also mentions how to decide the lease period. It mentions the valuation of the land. Before I was appointed to that position, the government had granted land for 100 rupees an acre. A perch had been given for 45 cents. This was because there was a section in the Land Act which said that the minister could decide the valuation and the area of the land to be given. I removed this. I removed it and said it would be purchased at market price and it would be given at market price. In spite of the minister's views, the Sunday Times reported that when lands are released by the Board of Investments for a 50-year lease, the valuation is $40,000 or about 6 million rupees per acre. However, claiming that Minister Rajit Senaratne's statement was false, the Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samaravikrama issued a statement pointing out that the Prime Minister had been informed beforehand on the investor for the Horana tyre factory.
The investor for this tyre factory, Nandana Lokuvithana, dealt closely with Mahinda Rajapaksa during the Mahinda Rajapaksa era. He has been accused of being the person that invested money for the Rajapaksa machine and the Rajapaksa family. This is the Nandana Lokuvithana who is investing in this tyre factory. He has been given immense benefits for this investment. He is receiving land at 100 rupees an acre. Minister Rajit Senaratne has clearly stated this and noted that it is akin to giving the land away for free. Not only that, he says the Prime Minister only found out who the investor is at the last moment. The next day, we saw Minister Malik Samaravikrama issuing a statement against what Rajitha Senaratne said and refuting his statement. Malik Samaravikrama said the Prime Minister was aware of who the investor was and indicated that he would act to protect the investor. At the end, Malik Samaravikrama makes an astounding statement that no matter what political connections this investor had in the past, what is most important to us at present is the investment he is making and the money that will come into the country. In simple terms, what Malik Samaravikrama is saying is that if any rogue who stole during the time of the Rajapaksa family is investing money under this government, that money will be laundered. That is what has been made evident to us through Malik Samaravikrama's statement.
On one hand, Minister Rajitha Senaratne is speaking out strongly against this project as an MP representing the Kalutara district. The Minister in charge of implementation, Malik Samaravikrama, has issued a written statement that Minister Rajitha Senaratne had given a completely wrong interpretation. He also states that the BOI will be questioned on why a higher amount was charged from the investor than the valuation provided by the government valuer. This is all lies. When the Prime Minister opens his mouth about debt, he lies. I can say this with responsibility. Given that the UNP sold land at 2 or 3 rupees an acre in the past, it is not a big deal for them to sell land at 100 rupees an acre. Remember, there are no vegetarian demons. Demons eat meat, but the people of our country thought there is such a thing as vegetarian demons. This is what happened. Before the 8th of January, we pointed out that this would happen if Ranil comes in and if governance is entrusted to the Vikramasinghes. We cannot place any hope on things done by the UNP. You cannot expect good governance from the UNP.
UNP වෙන දේවල් අපිට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න බෑ. වෛශ්‍යාවන්ගෙන් ප්‍රතිවෘත්තව බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න බෑ. UNP යහපාලනය බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න බෑ.
Newsfirst made inquiries from the chairman of the BOI, attorney at law Upul Jayasuriya, regarding the allegation that land had been leased at 100 rupees an acre for the proposed tyre factory in Horana. He noted that while the foundation stone was laid at the auspicious time that was given, a final decision has not been made as yet regarding the proposed tyre factory. Jayasuriya said that given the continuous allegations being raised by the media, he would be issuing a written statement on the matter in the near future. Now, following the report on the tyre factory in Horana telecast on primetime news at 7 p.m. on our sister channel Sirasa TV, the convener of the Citizens Organizations Collective, Saman Ratnapriya, contacted Newsfirst. He had this to say.
When I
was watching this news story, I began to wonder if the same things which happened in the past are happening again. The person named Nandana Lokuvithana is involved with this deal on the tyre factory. He is also known as the owner of the Marriott Hotel in Dubai. He is the person who is charged of converting black money into white money in billions during the term of Mahinda Rajapaksa. This is how he is alleged to have brought over the Marriott Hotel in Dubai. So when we see and hear of such things, it reminds us of the corrupt land deals of Basil Rajapaksa, Grandma Daisy's bag of gems and all related deals. Therefore we stress that the government should carry out their duties and responsibilities without getting caught with these corrupt deals and conspiracies.
Convening a media briefing today, the joint opposition exposed details regarding the sale of a plot of land in the city of Colombo.
This gazette notification contains a sale of a massively populated plot of land in Slave Island, Colombo 2, which is around 80 acres, for a sum of $130 million under the Strategic Development Bill. This gazette notification has been issued by Minister Malik Samaravikrama after consulting the Finance Minister. The way I remember, the investor for this is a private company called One Colombo Project Private Limited. This project is to be handed over to them in 2017 and is scheduled to be completed in another 8 years. Profits made on local goods which are exempt from VAT are also tax exempt. Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samaravikrama is accused of being primarily responsible for the central bank transactions, Hambantota Industrial Zone, the proposed tyre manufacturing plant in Horana, the transaction for the vehicle assembly plant in Kulyapitia, and the deal on an 8-acre plot of land in Slave Island, Colombo 2, which was exposed today. Malik Samaravikrama is not a minister who was elected by the people.
Taking a look at another one of our headline-making stories, while paddy fields are being destroyed due to the lack of water, this report from Mathura is about paddy fields which are nearing harvesting time being destroyed due to a temporary water block. We came across this story during our Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign.
Over 300 acres of paddy land in the Attudava area have been submerged due to diverting the Nilwala river. A sand wall has been built to stop seawater seeping in and mixing with fresh water in the river. This is the disastrous outcome of the sand wall. The paddy fields, which were nearing the harvesting period, have gone under the waters of the Nilwala river. Now they are compelled to dry up the wet paddy.
මාතර අත්තුඩාව සොන්නාදරගොඩ තනියාගොඩ රත්තින්ද කුඩලුගොඩ හා ඉලුද්දුගොඩ ප්‍රදේශවල ගොවීන් මෙම අවාසනාවන්ත ඉරණමට මුහුණ දී සිටිනවා.
Newsfirst teams toured 3 districts today as well under the Gum at the Door-to-Door campaign. The University of Peradeniya is providing academic support for the initiative. Newsfirst teams visited Naula, the Nalanda estate, Madavala and other areas in the Matala district today. Many villages in the district are suffering from a severe shortage of clean drinking water. While some areas receive water once every few days, in some areas the water supply has been restricted to less than an hour a day.
We used to drink the muddy water in the wells. We would buy from the lorries only if we have money. They only come to ask for votes. After that, no one comes.
We encountered similar problems in the Attapattukanda area in Deyandara in the Matara district. A water project which was initiated several years ago to fulfill the drinking water needs of the villagers has been abandoned midway. Residents claim that a sum of about 2 million rupees was spent on this project, which is undertaken through the Gamidiriya program.
I'm very thankful to Sirasa for their service.
I hope that at least now, after watching the government, that politicians of our area would work for our villagers.
We
would be very happy if government could do something for us.
Politicians just take our vote and go. They don't do anything. Sirasa has come forward to take their place.
A Newsfirst government, the team also visited the war-torn Walikamam North area in Jaffna district. Residents have returned to this area after a lapse of 27 years when the war ended. However, to date, all they have is empty land.
We request for a housing project.
Also in local news, a founder of the Jatika Namaluyana, Venerable Vanavasi Rahulathara, convened a media briefing in Kurunegala today.
They constantly label the previous government as rogues, but not a single person was caught. Take the bank robbery for instance. It is the biggest robbery in this country. Now this is something which has been debated and spoken of for years. The current government has not taken any measure against this. The president has a responsibility to punish the corrupt, irrespective of their parties, and create the good governance the people expected. We see the president taking different decisions through various media. The president should pay special attention to this and implement a program to create good governance and coexistence in the country. Similarly, the Prime Minister, together with all the public representatives in Parliament, should support the President to fulfill and accomplish this task.
Venerable Vanavasi Rahulathero also expressed the following waves.
If you look back at the past 2 years of the current government, there has not been any development in the country. People are watching all of these, especially the Sirasa network. I believe the Gum at the movement is an extraordinary initiative. Sirasa has taken the initiative to resolve the issues of the people. It is like a small government in villages. This is what it has come to, and I think it is very good. They can continue with this program. I watch the Sirasa Gum at the program every day, and what I see is that Sirasa has come forward to go into the villages and understand the burning issues and grievances of people in rural areas. It is like a small government. It is clear that the people have rallied around Sirasa to support them. That I need to say clearly.
Welcome back. You're with News First. Minister Sajid Premadasa patronised an event held today in Okwela Administrative Division in Hambantota to provide housing assistance for low-income families.
At the event, material aid was provided to over 250 families in the area. A few days ago, a political project was initiated saying they cause an upheaval. My friends, we need to make inquiries to find out what it is that the former president who steered this rally and the gang of thieves who stole with him in the past are trying to restart. They selected the day where Saturn was in transition. They were hoping that with the transition of Saturn, they could embark on a new journey. My friends, in astrology, the planet Saturn is the lord of those who suffer. It is the planet of the ordinary man. Saturn will not act to destroy any government or any individual who serves the ordinary man with an honest mind. At the same time, Saturn will certainly punish those who stole from the suffering people of this country. Those who stole national resources, those who stole public funds in broad daylight, those who destroyed human lives and introduced a white van culture to disappear people of this country.
The foundation stone for a new housing complex in the Depalmulla area in Balangoda was laid under the auspices of Minister Thalatha Attukorala today.
This housing complex, which consists of 30 houses, is being constructed with the intervention of the Ministry of Housing and Construction.
If there is a minister in this government who did not use a government vehicle or who did not receive a salary from this government, that would be Sajid Premadasa. He is not in debt to the country for any reason. We are proud to say this. We look at his character just as the character of Ranasinghe Premadasa. The Minister of Housing before Sajid Premadasa is now imprisoned for misusing 100 vehicles. When did Vimal Weerawansa ever come to lay a foundation stone to build a housing complex in Balangoda? When did he ever come to the Ratnapura district to lay the foundation stone for a housing complex?
Ratnapura district. Taking a look at a story that we've been following here at News First. While paddy fields are being destroyed due to the lack of water, this report from Mathura is about paddy fields which are nearing harvesting time being destroyed due to a temporary water block.
Over 300 acres of paddy land in the Attudava area have been submerged due to diverting the Nilwala river. A sand wall has been built to stop seawater seeping in and mixing with fresh water in the river. This is the disastrous outcome of the sand wall. The paddy fields, which were nearing the harvesting period, have gone under the waters of the Nilwala river. Now they are compelled to dry up the wet paddy. Paddy farmers of Attudava, Sonnadaragoda, Taniyagoda, Rattinda, Kudulugoda and Illadugoda in Mathura are facing the impact of these short-sighted actions. Farmers in this area grow organic paddy in these 1,500 acres without using any weedicides or pesticides. They obtain seed paddy for the next season from this harvest. Cultivated only once a year, this variety of paddy takes close to 6 months to be ready for harvesting. The fields that were toiled upon for over half a year are now underwater. This is the result of the sand wall. Look at the paddy stalks. They are taller than the fields were ready to be harvested. The entire thing is now underwater because of the seawater block. Now the farmers are compelled to work even harder to dry the wet paddy. Because we can't dry it in the paddy field, we spend a lot of money and bring it to the bund and lay it out to dry. This is a great inconvenience. It was 2 years ago since this dike was built on the Nilwala river near the Nadugala water pumping station with the intention of preventing seawater mixing with fresh water when the water levels of the river go down. This is the manner in which water of the Nilwala river flowed over the seawater block due to the rains received upriver. Many areas, including the Mathura city, receive their drinking water supply from the Nadugala and Kadduwa water purification centres, and this dike prevents seawater from mixing with fresh water.
Speaking at an event in Mullaryava today, UNP parliamentarian S.M. Marika commented on the central bank bond scam.
The allies of Rajapaksa's son are accused in the bond scam. Arjuna Aloysius funded the election campaign of Mahinda Rajapaksa. Arjuna Aloysius took part in car races with Rajapaksa's son. They ate together and they even struck deals together.
Well, that's a look at this Sunday's edition of Weekend Primetime News. I'm Arunati Mudanayaka. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.